On today's show, it's time to start giving some credit for where this Mavs relentless fight back comes from.
This is Cooper Flagg, and you're listening to Locked On Mavs.
All five. I think that's a good question.
Good morning, Isaac. All these changes, I still got my dog, Dwight Powell.
You are Locked On Mavs, your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still killing.
Your team every day.
And welcome, you're locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for over 10 years. Thanks for being in every day and making Locked On Mavs your first listen to Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network. Have your cake and drink it too. Birthday cakey flavor is back. No fork needed. Vanilla cakey flavor, caffeinated kick, and no sugar. It's party time. Order now at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. Joining me, as always, my co-host, media member covering the Mavs for over 10 years. Right alongside me, the fight back Fury. The one more thinking, what you got for me, Isaac Harris?
I want to do a little plug. I get nothing off this plug, but today's my daughter's birthday, and she's 6, which is awesome. We had a great day. But it was 6 years ago that I wrote one of my favorite things I've ever written. I did a girl dad piece. I was about to become a girl dad, and I wrote it for the Mavs at Mavs.com. And I talked to all the girl dads on the team, which back then it was Dorian and JJ Barea and a bunch of different people. So anyway, I reshared that today on Twitter or X because I try to share it once a year. And there you go. It's a fun piece.
And he'll do it again next February.
Next February 20th. Yep.
Yeah. Good stuff from there. We'll talk about the Mavs loss to the Timberwolves. We'll talk about the Mavs get 7 guys in double figure scoring. There's a lot of contributions we can talk about. We'll break down like detail by detail AJ Johnson's minutes that we got to see in this game.
Possession by possession.
But I want to start here. The Dallas Mavericks have played this very game that you just watched. If you watched this game, if you didn't, I get it. I appreciate you watching the show still. They played this very game 40 times this season, at least. This is this very exact same game where they get completely outgunned in the first quarter or the second quarter or one of the beginning quarters of the game because their offensive system just cannot keep up with anybody in the NBA. Their offensive system has been so bad. They even have a starting point guard now, or at least a point guard now in Tyus Jones. That's an NBA level guard starting for them. They still.
So I don't know about a starting point guard, but
he started and he is a point guard. That is a step up from where the Mavs have been for the majority of their lineups this season. And still, they just cannot get anything going on offense. 25 points in the first quarter. 40 points for the Timberwolves. They were just jacking threes back and forth and hitting them. And then you're like, all right, the Mavs are down 18. Timberwolves had 8 threes in the first quarter. And you're just like, all right, here we go. This is going to be a blowout for the Mavericks. Looks like the Timberwolves are going to roll. They were 13-point favorites coming in. And then the Mavs fight all the way back. They fight all the way back like they do. They are down 2 points with 7:38 left in the third quarter. You're like, oh man, all of a sudden the Mavs are getting this run. And then they finally tie the game like halfway through the fourth quarter on a Tyus Jones long offensive rebound runner right at the rim. They tie the game and you're like, man, what is this? And even in our Mavs group chat, they're like, man, if the Mavs win this game, what will that do to the tank? It would be really rude. And I was like, hold on, guys. We've seen this game before. And then Anthony Edwards comes in and just closes it. Hits like 3 or 4 big buckets to end this game. And the Mavs just don't have closers. When you have Naji Marshall and PJ Washington taking 33 combined shots, it's going to be a bad time for your offense. We've seen this game over and over again. But that fight back from the Mavericks, I think, is important. And I think we need to start talking about where that comes from. If you had to look at this team and say, all right, where does that fight back that we keep seeing from this Mavs team over and over, where does that come from?
I mean, you got to give credit to Jason Kidd. I feel like, we've had a little bit of that conversation earlier in the season when the same type of stuff, like the Mavs are losing, these games. They've lost 10 games in a row. Do you want to know the last time they lost 10 games in a row?
Oh my gosh. Was it the Lively tank season?
No.
Was it the Luka tank season?
You got to go back to 1997-98 season. The leading scorers on that team was Michael Finley, Cedric Sabalas, and Dennis Scott. Sean Bradley.
So you're telling me that Michael Finley is directly involved in the last 2 times the Mavs have lost 10 games in a row?
Hey, if you want to keep the streak going, yeah, the 90s is where it's at. If you're passing some streaks in the 90s for the Mavs, it's real.
I really hope that part of the podcast is not playing out loud in the Mavs offices when Michael Finley walks by.
Finley was part of both of the Mavs. But no, I think
that part.
I think you have to give credit to Jason Kidd in this. And, one of the, I don't think anybody's writing feature pieces about his X's and O's, but a lot of people will talk about his relationships and how he can lead men on the floor. And we've seen Giannis gush about it before, and these guys play hard. And you can't say that about all tanking teams out there. Some of them, you turn on League Pass and you're like, this is disgusting to watch. These Mavs losses are at least like fun, and if you want to say ethical, they're busting their butts out there and they're playing really hard.
They took 29 free throws. Is that ethical?
They're still not shooting 33s. This is one of those things. They shot 25 in this game. Especially when you don't have Cooper and you don't have Kyrie
and Max,
you gotta just jack up these threes if you want to have a shot. So I think this is one of the ways that they might be prioritizing the tank, the ping pong balls and that. But
they're not taking enough threes.
If you want to have a shot at winning a game like that, you need to be launching some threes. All right.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even just their offense, it's their defense in this game. Like, you're telling me that you had 7 players in double figures, you scored 60 points in the paint, and you still lost by double digits. And you gave up 122 in this game. I get that it's Ant and stuff, but if you start looking around at some of it and you're like, all right, dang, like we had a ton of people in double figures. Like, wow, we put up a ton of points in the paint. We had 45 bench points in this game. That's crazy. And then you're like, oh, well, we couldn't stop anybody. So,
well, and they lost by 11. So you would look, if you just looked at the box score without knowing the flow of the game or anything, you'd be like, well, they were just overmatched. They got beat.
Yeah.
And that was it. But it really wasn't. And I think Jason Kidd does deserve some credit for that, because there's something that he can get out of these role players where they just play out of position. These guys all play out of position all the time in different ways, and he can get them to buy in. He gets them to, a guy like Klay Thompson gets him to come off the bench and not say a word about it, right? Like nothing come out about it. He has Khris Middleton come out of nowhere and then just start, and Tyus Jones come out of nowhere and just start, and he puts them in these positions. And I think that deserves at least some credit that they're not winning games. They can't close games because they don't have the star power to, but at least they're keeping it competitive because of the way that these role players are playing.
Yeah, I think you give credit to Kidd, but you also give credit to the vets too. Once again, if you're going to compare it to a lot of these other bad teams out there right now, you're turning on the games, and some of these teams are throwing out there, two-way guys that you never heard of, or just random dudes that they're signing off the street and playing. Like, the Mavs are playing Khris Middleton, Klay Thompson. Like, these are NBA champions. Even PJ and Gafford and some of those guys, like, they're not just like sign them off the street type of guys. Like, these are vets. They're going to care. They're not just going to like throw it in. Like, if you had a whole roster of AJ Johnson, not saying that AJ Johnson wouldn't care, but it's just like, if you had, 5 different types of AJ Johnson out there, you might not get the same type of of what you're seeing right now with the Mavs.
That's literally what the Wizards are doing. The Wizards had an AJ Johnson, and they had 14 other ones, and then they traded.
The Wizards had CJ McCollum, who was actually like getting buckets for them, and like people made jokes that like they made the Trae Young trade when they did because CJ was just like shooting the ball way too well. Yeah.
Well, and Khris Middleton was a helpful vet for them too, and then they traded him away, and then they sat Anthony Davis and Trae Young, and now they are this young team that doesn't have.
AD's going to be reevaluated in a couple weeks.
In a couple weeks.
I know. He's not healed.
Aren't we like 2 weeks removed from him being healed?
Yes. I want to know what happened.
He would be healed right now. It was supposed to be this next game. He was supposed to be healed.
I don't know why he's going to be reevaluated then.
We just can Pastor Isaac just call Jehovah Rapha and just try to get some healer on him? I think Naji Marshall deserves credit for the relentless fight as well. He's been like the heart and soul of this Mavs team. And I feel like that's been my takeaway from several of these games, is that he's just ascended to be be in that spot. He was only 5 of 16 from the field. Not a normal game from him. Only 4 of those were threes. He missed all of them. but he had some big buckets. Like he only hit 5 shots, but I feel like some of them were just really big and consequential. Some big and ones where he just felt like the energy, like get back into the Mavs. It's like, okay, we're connected still. Like we still have a chance here. We still keep fighting back. He had 3 steals, 3 assists. He had 5 boards too. I just think him and then PJ I thought also had just some fight. He got beat a bunch by Anthony Edwards late in this game, but never gave up. Took a bunch of shots too. Was only 5 of 17 from the field, but had 12 boards, a couple of assists, a couple of steals too. Didn't have any turnovers. Shout out PJ Washington, not have any turnovers. That's a big thing for him this season. But between those two guys, I think that those wings, I mean, they just don't give up.
Yeah, and Naji, I don't care who's like gonna try to defend the floater in the paint. I don't think like he had this floater over Jaden McDaniels tonight. I'm like, I was like 99% sure like McDaniels was blocking it, and somehow he got it off and it just went straight in. I'm like, all right, like you're it's like a cheat code kind of this is something you figured out in 2K and you're like, all right, this shouldn't like work this well in 2K, but it happened. It's like every time it's green. And I love that about him.
Absolutely. So Jason Kidd deserves some credit for the fight back. Naji Marshall, PJ Washington for being the heart and soul of this team in a way. Coming up, let's talk about the contributions from Khris Middleton, Tyus Jones, Marvin Bagley, the new guys from the Mavericks. I think that they all had good things in this game that we can talk about and that they can add to this team going forward. Talk about that and more coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook. Ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals in person, live? We did do that. We did experience it in person. Lots of us. And then, whatever happened. Here's how it works now, though. Use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. That's right. Flights, tickets, the whole experience. You can get that on FanDuel by using your profit boost. And right now, Finals MVP odds right now. SGA plus 140. That's kind of crazy. Jokic plus 600. Wemby plus 1,300. Cade Cunningham plus 1,400. Oh, that's looking nice. Our old friend Jalen Brunson plus 1,600. Where's Luka Doncic? Plus 5,500. He has worse odds than Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum plus 4,000 to win Finals MVP. Anthony Edwards, who we just saw, plus 3,500. That one's kind of fun too. Go check out all the different things you can do on FanDuel and use your profit boost to get automatically entered to win a shot to go to the NBA Finals for 2. And you can go do that right now. Play your game at FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Also brought to you by Quo. New year, new systems. This is the time when a lot of us look in the mirror and you go, there's just got to be a better way to do this. The Mavericks are probably doing that right now. There's got to be a better way to not lose 22 clutch games this season, but there's not. Streamlining your communications is one of the quickest upgrades that you can make for your business. That's why this episode is brought to you by Quo, QUO, the smarter way to run your business communications, because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating all in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with customers. I love that Quo is just one shared business number. Everyone sees the full conversation, which means they can reply faster. You're not just waiting and you're not just trying to forward and like, all right, can you message this person? Can you do this? And they're hearing from different people. It's all in one spot, all from your business number, which is awesome. It's no surprise that Quo is the #1 rated phone business system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses. Make this the year where no opportunity and no customer slip away. Try Quo for free and get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/lockedonnba. QUO.com/lockedonnba. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad. That's what we call our listeners, listening every day. Check out the Everydayer Club, lockedonmavericks.supercast.com. You can get ad-free episodes of this show. If you skipped 30 seconds a couple times just now, maybe that's for you. $5 a month or $50 a year, and you can get ad-free episodes of this show. This show also access to our Discord, where we're in there chatting it up and talking with everybody, and like-minded Mavs fans are there as well. So check out that, lockedonmavericks.supercast.com, or check the link in the description. All right, Isaac, we're talking about the Mavs game against the Timberwolves. They lose 122-111. They go down 40-25 in the first quarter, and then they fight back. They fight. They make a game of it, but then they can't close it out. But I think some of the new players I wanted to talk about, because Khris Middleton, 18 points, 6 boards, 2 assists. They took a board away from him. He had 7. He had 7 at the end of the game. Now he only has 6. 2 assists, 2 steals. And he had some awesome. That first three he hit against Anthony Edwards was just an insane bucket where he had a couple of crossovers, a counter, and then just the step back like leaning 3-point shot hit that one. He had a couple other post moves, and when Jason Kidd needed a bucket late in this game, he went to Khris Middleton. The Mavs had tied the game 103-103. Anthony Edwards then hit 2 buckets back to back, and the Mavs called a timeout. They were like, all right, we need to slow down because there's all of a sudden Ant's getting hot. And right out of a timeout, he goes to Khris Middleton, post up against Ayo Dosunmu, turn around, fade, hit the bucket, like a clutch bucket from Khris Middleton there.
Yeah, Middleton. Mid range, he's still got it. So I like that. We'll see. The deadline's coming up at the end of the month for players to get waived to go to playoff teams. But he seems like, he's playing. He seems like he's enjoying it right now. He's clearly still got stuff left in the tank. And
the weird thing about him is he makes almost too much money to go to some of these teams. Like a second apron team can't sign him.
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 teams. Like there's still some playoff teams and stuff that he could go to.
Sure.
But he's still got stuff left in the tank. And, I was just watching him this game. I'm like, man, I really wish I really wish there was a way like he would be willing to come back next year on like a cheaper deal. So I love, some of the offensive creation stuff. Like if you want to compare like the two vets, like Klay's more of like a setup guy, like get him coming off screens and, better shooter and all of that. But like Middleton, like if you just need somebody to like get down on the block or get in the mid range and, hey, we just need some sort of, self creation at this point or self shot making, then it's, Middleton still has some of that.
Yeah. And I said during the game that I think his game is better for the Mavericks, this version of the Mavericks, than Klay Thompson's is right now.
What do you mean by this version of the Mavs? Like losing Mavs?
Right. The tanking version. This version of the Mavs where they don't have enough playmakers. They don't have enough guys that can set up guys. Like Klay Thompson was amazing for the Luka Kyrie Mavs, right? Where you had multiple playmakers. You had guys that can set up other guys. And because Klay had 9 threes tonight, he hit 3 of them, which was great. But the threes and shots that he's creating himself are they're not quality threes. Like he's hitting tough shots with some of these. Khris Middleton creates his own shot, can create a little bit for others. And I think that version of his game where he moves the ball a little bit more, can post up, can create his own shot, the Middleton. That version, I think of a player, I think is just better for this version of Mavericks than Klay Thompson, and not in a tanking way, like an actual.
I was like, what kind of way are you thinking? Yeah, and I think all the good teams need guys like that. Of like, if you do bring him back next year on like a cheaper deal. You think back to some of those like Warrior teams and you think back to like Sean Livingston or something like that. You just come off the bench, Sean Livingston loved those little like mid-range, like paint touches. He's like a bigger version, that's like, all right, we're giving some of our other guys a rest. Can Middleton just get us a couple buckets here? And, he's still got some left in there.
Yeah, if the Mavs didn't have Naji, I would say that would be a really good role for Khris Middleton. But I feel like
Naji's better. I am really impressed with Marvin Bagley though.
Yeah.
I just what you see from once again, like it's relative, right, to the situation. But still, it's like what you would want from like a backup big. He's still springy. There's still some. I was going back and looking at some of my notes from him and my draft profile of his time at Duke, and one of the things I wrote in there a lot was his second jump at Duke and his athleticism around the rim. And it feels like he has like a putback dunk every single game at this point. But he stays active. He hit that 3 late in the game there. I wouldn't say I'm like banking on that all the time, but he is a serviceable, like decent big. Like he's another one of those guys he continues playing like this the rest of the season. I want to see like him and Cisse kind of just like shift off of minutes there, like either one of those two on the floor, because
I thought you were going to say fight.
Well, I want to see both of those guys get extended run the rest of the year, because I think they both could be fighting for like a backup big spot on this team.
Yeah. I was trying to put together next year's like rotation. If you're just going to be like, all right, let's assume they draft a guard.
It's so hard right now.
Let's assume they draft a guard. Let's assume Lively comes back. Do they trade Gafford or not? Okay, if they don't trade Gafford and they keep Lively because Gafford is the Lively insurance, then you have Lively and Gafford, and then your third big Is Dwight Powell coming back? Is it Musa? Is it Marvin Bagley? Do you want kind of a good third backup because Lively may not play enough games? That's just such a hard thing to bet on. And then you're trying to pitch that role to Marvin Bagley. You're like, you're our third big man. However, it's like you're probably going to be the second one a lot of the season. But it's like that's a hard role to try and pitch to a guy that is still 26 and wants an opportunity. And like you said, he played pretty well tonight.
Yeah, you could be like really, really sad about it. It's like which Duke big man plays more minutes for the Mavs?
Oof. That's a sad board bet we could do to start.
It's really sad. It's like he doesn't even have a contract for next year, and we're putting him on a board bet.
I know. 15 points, 13 boards, 7 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, he's springy, man. Like he goes after it.
Hit the 3.
I'm not as high on Tyus Jones right now. And it's not like I'm watching him saying, you know what, Nembhard and Brandon Williams are so much better. I'm not saying that either. I'm more of kind of just walking away from it saying, like, can we just redo the whole guard room next year? But I'm just not that impressed with him so far.
I sent a note to the text line at the halftime, and I was like, the Mavs have to invest heavily in guards this offseason because I cannot watch this team.
You got to redo it.
It can't just be. It can't also just be Kyrie, Tyus Jones, and Nembhard or Brandon Williams. Like it can't just be that either. That's not a good enough guard rotation in the NBA.
Well, they'll have one of those top guards. Yeah,
that's what you hope.
I mean, unless they move up.
But I was gonna say, but what if it's a DeMonta or Caleb Wilson or something like that? Like they still got to invest in guards in some way. Because I think Tyus Jones is I think he'd be an okay backup. Because we're looking at it through the lens of he's playing 26 minutes. He's starting the game, playing those crucial minutes, the beginning of the first, beginning of the third. If you replace 10 of those minutes with Kyrie Irving, I think that's just a much better outcome. And Kyrie Irving is soaking up like 33 point guard minutes. I guess it just depends on the cost, right? If you're telling me the minimum, sure. If you're telling me you're getting in a little mini bidding war, like Slightly was saying the other day, and you're like, all right, now I'm up paying like $7 million for Tyus. And then I'm like, okay. What if it was the deal that D'Lo got last year? They do close to like the biannual.
Okay, I guess. If there's just not any, like he sets the table, he goes out there and gets everybody in their spots, and it's the whole thing I always say about summer league. Like those guys are great in summer league because you need the point guards to set the prospects up and stuff. But like, I don't know, like sure it would be like a sure type of thing, but are there better options out there?
Hey, he's a better option than the point guards the Mavs were rolling out there from the majority of this season. Actually, all of this season.
Is he the best point guard Cooper's played with?
Is that a shot at Tyrese Proctor or?
No, I just mean like this year in NBA.
all time. 13 points, 6 assists, no turnovers. Like that's a game you get from Tyus Jones. Only took and made 1 3. Didn't get to the free throw line.
Are we sure he's that much better than Nembhard though?
Yes.
Okay. Nembhard is supposed to be Brunson. So
yeah, for 1 week. You guys keep bringing that up. It was 1 week where Twitter was just freaking out.
There were memes left and right. It was incredible.
A meme is a meme, but it was for a week, and nobody's talked about Nembhard since then.
Because he hasn't played.
He's playing right now.
In Frisco.
He's playing right now in Frisco. Coming up, let's talk about AJ Johnson. Let's talk about the Mavs.
I got an Anthony Edwards question for you.
An Anthony Edwards question. What do we think about? Is this Timberwolves team for real? Coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs, something that I need every single day. It's 5-hour energy, the flavor draft. We're doing it right now. 18 different flavors to choose from, all kinds of different ones, including new options like confetti craze. What does a confetti craze taste like? 5-hour energy. Like, am I tasting a bunch of different flavors all at once? Or I feel like it would mix. Fruity rainbow, cotton candy. There's something for everybody. I look and I'm initially drawn to like the Hawaiian breeze, the peach mango, the tropical burst. I just wish I was still in Cancun. That's just what I would wish I was still there, but I'm not. And I'm here taking 5-hour energy. Find your new favorite flavor of 5-hour energy shots available online at 5hourenergy.com or at Amazon. You can try all the different kinds: fruity rainbow, the cherry, the grape, berry, strawberry, banana, regular, strawberry. There's all kinds of different ones that you can try. Available at 5 Hour Energy. So the number 5hourenergy.com or at Amazon. Get your 5 Hour Energy. Get the boost.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
All right, Isaac, let's talk about the Mavs and a couple more players I wanted to talk about in this game. We got just under 5 minutes of AJ Johnson.
Stop.
In this game. Jason Kidd, the only reason why I wanted to bring this up is because Jason Kidd before the game said, we're going to get a look for the rest of the season. We're going to get a look at AJ Johnson. We're going to get a look at Miles Kelly, see what they have. Do you believe him, or is this another one that I get to bring out the
I don't always tell you guys the truth.
No, I actually do believe him because I think they're saving these two-way games. I think we're going to see some lineups towards the end of the season to where we're seeing Cisse, AJ Johnson, Nimhard, these guys just loading in the minutes. So I think they're just saving it.
Well, Nemhard only has 6 games left. Musa has 8 games left. Kelly has 30. He can play the whole rest of the season. There's no reason for him to not be there. But
or there's this is mean. Or they're saving AJ for that tank battle that's coming up. That 4-game stretch.
This 4-game stretch coming up, like this next stretch is insane.
Well, that's going to be so mean if AJ plays like 25 minutes a game, those 4 games.
Mean for who? For us.
No, it's just going to be
for
like
you, for listening, for everyone watching.
It's going to be so telling though.
Yeah, right. I don't think they'll even do that. I think they'll win these games.
I don't think they win all 4, no.
They haven't, some of them, but they just haven't blatantly. We have to do a tank update. It's time to start doing the tank updates, right? We got the almost trash compactor going. Stop. Did it finish loading? Did it even finish loading? Sacramento didn't play tonight. They're garbage. Lost 15 in a row. The Pelicans lost. The Pacers lost. The Nets lost. The Wizards won a game. Against the Grizz, they won a game tonight, so they have 16 wins. So they only have 3 less wins than the Mavericks, which is notable. The wins is what you want to look at here at the end. The Jazz lost the game to the Grizzlies. Shout out to our old friend Omax, led the Grizzlies in scoring with 23 points.
Let's go, Max.
The Mavs lost. They're still in 7th in the tank race. If you're following this, they're 2 games back, 2 games up, 2 games back, two games distance away from the Jazz for 6th. Right now, and the Jazz cannot go to 7 or 8. That would be disastrous for their franchise.
Oh, that'd be tough.
The Grizzlies,
funny, but
the Grizzlies won a game, so the Grizzlies are now 2.5 games distance away from the Mavericks. The Bulls have they've lost 7 games. We talked about them in our tanking episode the other day.
I told you they're going south fast.
They have entered this race for sure, and the Bucks won, so they've won 3 games in a row. They're a good distance away from the Mavericks.
Yeah, I feel like I've kind of like mentally prepared for Dallas to land at 7 as the highest they could go up, unless they jump in the lottery. I do get scared that when it's all said and done, it's like, oh, Dallas is at 9. And it's like, oh no.
So the difference between like 7 and 9, what you're talking about right now, the Mavericks have a 32% chance at top 4, which is where you want to be. Like top, this is that. If that percentage can get any higher, that'd be incredible for the Mavericks. 32%. If they go to 9, it goes to 20%. That is a big drop. That is a over 50% drop in odds in ping pong ball like opportunities. The chance the number 1 pick doesn't change that much. 7.5% right now, and if it's 9, it's 4.5%. So that's not a big difference. And so that's the big one, is the top 4. That's what we're going to be looking at.
Yeah. Can I ask you an Ant question real quick?
I'm ready.
If just hypothetically, you're looking at Cooper Flagg saying, hey, you could have any running mate in the league, is Ant your pick?
Any running mate in the league?
Yeah, I think he would be my pick. Ant and Cooper would like create
the Wemby one is kind of a cheat code.
Okay, well, yes, it'd be Wemby. But besides the alien,
any guard running mate, let's say that. Because Jokic would be the other one. You're like, imagine Cooper Flagg with Jokic.
I don't know, like moving, but I mean like moving forward. If you're like, hey,
I would still take Jokic. Really? This is going back to our who would you rather take right now. I'm like, I'd still take the next 3-4 years with Jokic being that good compared to anybody else, really. But yeah, Ant is way up there. Like even, I mean, Luka?
Are we allowed to talk about that on the spot?
Probably not for another 2 years.
Yeah. I think Ant would be my pick.
Have you answered that question of if the Mavs can get Luka?
If Luka's coming back.
It's like every text thread mailbag we've done every day.
I don't know how many times I have to say
somebody
this.
asks that question every time.
Jason Kidd would have to be gone, and ownership would have to be gone for there to even be a chance.
And Champ, like Champ knows what he did.
Oh yeah, Mavs man, you're safe.
SGA's way up there too.
I would take Ant.
Ant over SGA.
To pair with Cooper, those two on the wing, like, I like when Ant locks in defensively. Ant's just one of my favorite players in the league to watch on the basketball floor. Like the two-way stuff, he can play on defense. He's entertaining. He's a lot of fun to watch. And then the scoring stuff, I mean, putting him and Cooper together would be nasty. Anyway, I was just thinking about that during the game.
No, I think that's would be great. That'd be a great combo. And that's the kind of guard you want. You want an explosive like guy that can defend. Like one of the things I'm worried about in this draft is the Mavs come away with like an A cuff, where all of a sudden you have like a defender to try and like work around in your lineup again. Because getting Cooper Flagg, one of the big things about it was, man, the Mavs could create this really good switchy defensive lineup where they have so many options. And I can't believe I'm talking to you this seriously with your helmet on this whole time.
I love talking about the draft, so I don't care.
That's one of the things I'm worried about is if going forward, you've got all of a sudden a liability you've got to figure out again.
Yeah, I mean I think that's one of the big calling cards for Wagler is he's 6'6".
Yeah.
But he's like super thin and so it's like I don't know. You assume he's going to like fill out and stuff. Michael Brown's kind of like the in between at like 6'5", but anyway, we're doing more draft talk now, but
that's right. We love it. That's what we're.
I will say
every show we're gonna end with draft talk.
I will say this: I do think A-Cuff's height is a little bit overrated when it comes to like people act like he's Earl Boykin, and he's not that small. Like he's 6'3", and when you look at other guards in the league, they're 6'3". It's not the craziest thing. Like he's not Chris Paul. Like he's not 6
I don't
foot.
trust any of the heights though. Remember, Ace Bailey was like 6'10".
He doesn't, but even watch him. I've probably watched more of him over the past 2 to 3 weeks than anybody, and it's been on purpose because I just want to have like a better opinion on him, and he doesn't feel small on the floor. I mean, he's one of the best like point guard, like pure point guard prospects, like running an offense that I've seen in a long time. But I think there's valid defensive. How do you impact the game outside of offense concerns?
Get ad-free episodes of this show, lockedonmavericks.supercast.com. The text line, the link is in the description as well for that, or the QR code. You can check that out. We'll have more updates and more all throughout the rest of the season. Do every post-game. Guys, thanks for listening to Locked on Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.
Dogs. All of us. All